Welcome to our channel. Today, we bring you a truly horrifying story where love, revenge, and the shadow of black magic intertwine. This story centers around my friend Rajib, whose life changed completely due to a college romance in 2007. But alongside love, a mysterious and dark force began to play a sinister game, ultimately bringing his life to a tragic end. This story actually happened, so stay alert, for what you are about to hear is not just fear, it is a chilling reality. My friend's name is Rajib. In 2007, while studying in college, he developed a relationship with a girl named Promi. At first, none of their college friends knew about it, but within a year, the relationship became known to everyone. To be honest, they truly loved each other very much. However, problems soon began to arise. Around the middle of 2012, although Promi's mother already knew about her relationship with Rajib, her father was unaware of it. As marriage proposals for Promi started coming from different places, her father eventually agreed to arrange her marriage, but Promi could not accept this at all. Being left with no other choice, she asked her mother to tell her father everything. At that time, my friend Rajib was only in his third year of his honors degree, and his family's financial condition was not good at all. After learning everything, Promi's father firmly refused to marry his daughter to Rajib. He was extremely angry with his wife for knowing everything beforehand, but not informing him, and he began putting intense pressure on her to force Promi to agree to the marriage. No matter how hard they tried, they could not convince Promi to marry someone else. Eventually, having no other option, Promi's mother threatened to commit suicide to make her daughter agree. Everyone loves their mother. No child would ever want to see their mother dead in front of their eyes. That day, Promi could not say anything back to her mother. That afternoon, Promi called my friend Rajib, told him everything, and apologized for all of it. Hearing her words, it felt as if the sky had collapsed on Rajib's head. Somehow, he tried to regain his composure and made several attempts to convince Promi again. He even tried to talk to her family. In this way, many more days passed. Almost 7 months later, I learned from my mother that Promi was pregnant. From then on, she would stay at her parents' house. Because of our long friendship, that afternoon, my mother and I went to their house to congratulate Promi, but what we saw there brought tears to everyone's eyes. The old Promi was no longer recognizable. Dark circles had formed under her eyes, her body had become frail, and she looked extremely sick. When we asked her mother about Promi's condition, she said that she had been ill nearly 3 to 4 months. She had visited many doctors, but none of them could give a clear explanation. Some said it might be due to pregnancy, but honestly, her physical condition was so alarming that it was hard to believe with one's own eyes. We returned home that day carrying a deep sadness in our hearts. Exactly 3 days later, my mother and I went to Promi's house again, but this time, seeing Promi's condition shocked us even more.
The most shocking thing was that in just 3 days, she had lost nearly 2.5 kilograms. Seeing such a scene in front of my eyes made me feel a little uneasy. So I suggested to Promi's mother to consult a reputable religious scholar. Following my advice, that night she called the mosque's imam. However, he couldn't give any clear guidance. The next morning, something unusual happened. After 7 long months, Rajib returned home. When news spread in the neighborhood, many people gathered at his house to see him. At that time, the only question on everyone's lips was, "Where have you been all this time?" But Rajib did not answer anyone. I was anxious to see my dear friend after so long, so I went to their house that very morning without delay. We talked for a long time, but he still didn't tell me where he had been or what he had been doing. From that day on, I visited Rajib almost daily. One day, during a casual conversation, I informed him about Promi's pregnancy and her poor health. I thought hearing this would upset him greatly. Surprisingly, it didn't take long for him to act. When we arrived, I saw some disciples of a tantric wandering around the ashram. Rajib ran to them while leaving me behind and returned saying they asked us to wait. After waiting for a while, someone came and took Rajib inside. I followed, but the others stopped me. About half an hour later, Rajib emerged from the tantric's room, looking dejected and pale. When I asked why, he said the tantric had refused to help. On the way home, Rajib started telling me everything himself. I was truly astonished by his words. He said that 7 months ago, when he last saw me, all he could think about was revenge. He couldn't bear the thought of anyone else being with Promi. He had lost all control over himself. That night, without telling anyone, he had left home. Initially, he had thought of killing her husband himself, but had no plan where or how to do it. At that moment, a stranger approached him on the street. Surprisingly, this person slowly calmed him down by speaking gently. Rajib had been furious at his family and didn't feel like talking to friends, yet a few words from this stranger brought him peace. The stranger said, "I feel you left home in deep sorrow. I once left home too. I don't know your pain, but I can share mine." He began telling Rajib about his own hardships. After that, Rajib gradually revealed his own troubles, even mentioning his desire for revenge. Then, the stranger put a hand on his shoulder and said, "Don't worry, friend, I can help you. I know a capable practitioner who can do everything. He may fulfill your heart's desire." With the fire of revenge burning within him, Rajib agreed and went with the stranger. That very night, he met the tantric for the first time, a tall man with long hair, a large robe, bright red clothing, and a vermilion mark on his forehead. Before Rajib could speak, the tantric began telling him all the problems he faced. Amazed, Rajib fell to his feet, pleading for help. The tantric said he could help, but he needed certain things: items used by the person he wanted revenge upon, soil from a paired grave, and river water. If he properly prepared these items, his chances of success would be highest. There was one condition: until the work was completed, he could not contact anyone else. Rajib accepted this condition, fully focused on revenge. That night, he returned home to gather the items. He had a few belongings previously given by Promi, which he used to go to the grave and collect soil, then river water. Nothing unusual happened until he returned to the ashram, but then something strange happened. He felt someone following him, yet whenever he looked back, no one was there. As he moved further, he heard new sounds around him, yet still saw no one. When he was very close to the ashram, he felt his mother and Promi calling him from behind. At first, he was shocked. How could his mother be there, and Promi was supposed to be in Dhaka? Before he could turn around after the second call, someone placed a hand on his head, preventing him from looking back. He looked up and saw the stranger who had introduced him to the tantric. He was stunned. When he had been walking, the road was completely empty. Where had this man appeared from in just a few seconds? The man said, "Do not look back. If you truly want revenge, go straight to the ashram. Do not turn around." Rajib was momentarily comforted by hearing the voices of his mother and Promi, but thoughts of revenge mixed everything in his mind again. The stranger disappeared, yet he clearly heard his voice carried by the wind. "Move forward, do not turn around." Exhausted and dizzy, Rajib ran and collapsed in front of the ashram. After that, he lost all awareness. When he regained consciousness, it was morning. Opening his eyes, he saw the tantric's disciples forming a circle around him. As he sat up, the tantric said, "You have succeeded in your first task. From today, your real work begins." After that day, Rajib was made to sit in front of fire and go through various rites of preparation. Using items previously used by Promi and soil from the paired grave, they made a doll. This doll was not created in a single night. It took about 27 days. On the 28th night, Rajib was instructed to cut a long piece of cloth from a recently deceased person's shroud. The tantric had already told him where to find it. Disguised, he successfully completed the task, despite some suspicions due to his unfamiliarity. The next day, there was no work for him at the ashram.
That night, after falling asleep, I saw a very strange dream. I saw a handsome man come to me and say, "What you did was completely wrong, and what you are doing here now is also entirely wrong. For this, you will face severe punishment both in this world and the hereafter. If you can, return the burial shroud cloth immediately." The moment he said this, I jolted awake. Trembling, I told the tantric about the dream. He told me not to worry, saying it was nothing serious. But strangely, right after that, he himself became restless and hurried to complete the work on the doll. One by one, he woke everyone up and instructed them to chant mantras. He drew a pentagram on the ground, lit a fire inside it, and placed the doll at the center. Then, while continuously chanting, he blew onto the burial shroud cloth and used it like a rope to tightly bind it around the doll. Standing at a distance, I could clearly see that the moment the chanting ended, the flames inside the pentagram suddenly rose to double their height. After some time, the tantric called me closer and said, "The work on the doll is complete. Very soon, your revenge will also be fulfilled." After that night, I don't know what happened to the doll or what else was done with it. I couldn't return home all those days, not because I was forced, but because I felt strangely satisfied staying there. Sometimes I would see dreams in which Promi's husband was suffering terribly, and to my shame, those scenes felt good to me. At that time, it never crossed my mind that because of this ritual, Promi herself would also suffer. When everything in the ashram seemed to be going smoothly, thoughts of my family began to haunt me. Feeling extremely low, I finally decided to return home. But after seeing Promi's condition, I completely lost control of myself. When I went back to the tantric seeking help, he clearly said it was impossible. Once this work begins, no one has the power to stop it. I begged him repeatedly, but nothing worked. These were the 7 long months of Rajib. That night, I stayed at Rajib's house. To be honest, I had no words left to say. The next morning, after discussing everything, we went back to the ashram once again. After waiting for nearly 2.5 hours, we finally got to speak to the tantric. But again, it was of no use. He mentioned only one possible solution. The black magic doll had been thrown into the river. If that doll could somehow be retrieved, then and only then could a solution be attempted. But for us, finding that doll was impossible. No one knew where it had been carried away by the current. Meanwhile, Promi's condition kept getting worse day by day. After taking her to the doctor and running all the tests, the doctor clearly stated that if her physical condition remained like this, the baby would not survive. With no other option left, Rajib and I desperately began searching for a religious scholar. This time, trusting faith was our only hope. Perhaps because of our efforts, Allah granted us a chance. Fortunately, we found a respected Huzur in Kamila City. After hearing the entire story, he was stunned. He said that the tantric Rajib had gone to was extremely powerful. To increase his own strength, the death of an unborn child was necessary for him. Through his possessed jinns, he had tracked both Rajib and Promi. On the night Rajib left seeking revenge, a wicked jinn was used to influence him, to brainwash him, and bring him to the ashram. Rajib was then used as a tool to fulfill the tantric's selfish rituals. The tantric had already foreseen Promi's pregnancy. That is why he kept Rajib engaged in preparations for 4 months, and in the 4th month he threw the doll into the river. There were also 2 more talismans involved, but their locations were unknown. Because of this, resolving the situation would be extremely difficult. Hearing this, it felt as if the sky had collapsed on Rajib's head. Realizing he had been used for someone else's power and that it had brought death upon 2 people, Rajib was overwhelmed with regret. I continued pleading with the Huzoor to find any possible way out. Finally, he mentioned one uncertain path, removing black magic with black magic itself. Since a full moon night was approaching, he asked us to bring items used by Promi, a handful of soil from a paired grave, and water from that river. Following his instructions, on the full moon night, we went to the local graveyard. Collecting soil from between the paired graves went smoothly, but the real trouble began as we were leaving. Near the gate of the graveyard, there was a large pond. Suddenly, it felt like someone had jumped into the water, yet there was no one around. Just before I could turn back, I felt someone place a hand on my shoulder and release a cold breath like icy air. Before I could react, Rajib turned around and froze in terror. His face turned red, sweat poured down, and his eyes widened in pure fear as he stared at something behind us. When I turned around, what I saw is beyond description. About 10 feet behind us stood a massive black shadow, nearly 10 feet tall. Although it resembled a human shape, no clear features or limbs were visible. The moment we saw it, both of us became completely paralyzed. We couldn't move or even speak. The entity slowly came closer and said, "No matter how hard you try, it will be useless. The tantric will never let you succeed." Then it turned its head toward me and said, "Why are you trying to destroy your own life? Let the one who caused the problem deal with it. You are just an outsider. If you want to live, leave this place." With that, the shadow vanished into the darkness within seconds. Immediately, we regained our strength. Without wasting a moment, we ran to the riverbank, collected the water, and went straight to the Huzoor's house. The Huzoor began the rituals one by one and assured us that within 3 days, Promi would start to recover. Filled with hope, we waited anxiously, asking my mother to check on Promi every day. Exactly after 3 days, we received the news that Promi was feeling better than before. The next 2 days passed well, but on the 3rd night, a new nightmare began. That night, I saw another strange dream. I saw the same black entity from the graveyard brutally beating someone inside the cemetery. From a distance, the scene appeared blurry.
Before I could even approach, the object from my dream appeared in front of me within seconds and said, "I warned you. You still have time to remove yourself from all of this. If you don't, 4 lives may be lost." Hearing that, I woke up immediately. It was morning. Just as I was preparing to sleep again, news arrived that Promi had fallen gravely ill and was being rushed to the hospital. I was utterly shocked. The Huzoor had already been performing ruqya for her, so why was this happening? And why did this news follow immediately after the dream? Questions swirled endlessly in my mind. I called Rajib and told him everything. Early that morning, we went straight to the Huzoor's house. What we saw and heard there sent chills down our spines. The Huzoor's house was completely ransacked, and his eyes and face were blood red. When I asked him what had happened, he explained. Before Fajr prayers, a massive black figure came into my room, dragged me, and told me to refrain from helping Promi directly. When I understood this, I argued with it, but in an instant, it felt like a whirlwind appeared before my eyes, leaving everything in total chaos. I initially couldn't comprehend its full power, but now I realize it is incredibly strong. You must contact someone more capable immediately, or you will face serious danger. I cannot solve this myself. After leaving the Huzoor's house, my mother called to inform me that Promi's baby had died the previous night. No one could process this devastating news.
Feeling helpless, we once again visited the tantric's ashram, hoping to persuade him with money to save Promi, but he refused completely. Eventually, we had given up hope. Yet, Allah helped us again. The next day, we found a female tantric in Chandina, Kumila. She was Hindu, but an expert in tantra. Through many difficulties, we managed to speak with her. She listened to our story, asked for 51 taka as a token on a plate, and told us to wait outside. After some time, she called us in and revealed shocking information that left us speechless. She explained Rajib's original goal had been only to harm Promi's husband slightly, but the male tantric had exploited this revenge, using Rajib as a pawn to cast black magic on Promi and her unborn child. He had even deceived Rajib into believing that his rituals were causing Promi pain. Tragically, he had already killed the unborn baby. Now, Promi herself was his final target. However, there was a problem which the female tantric explained. The black magic involved 3 talismans. One was thrown into the river along with the doll and was practically impossible to recover, but the remaining 2 could be found, and if retrieved, the problem could be resolved. Near the male tantric's ashram, a guava tree held a talisman wrapped in a burial cloth inside a plastic sheet. Each time the plastic moved in the wind, Promi fell ill. It had to be retrieved immediately. The last requirement was to recover a talisman buried under the kitchen stove at Promi's house, placed there by the male tantric using his spiritual powers. Following the instructions carefully, we retrieved both talismans. I felt extremely weak and nauseated after taking the first from the guava tree, but after prayers, I regained some strength. That night, we went to Promi's kitchen to retrieve the second talisman. As soon as I tried to remove it from beneath the stove, it felt like a storm had erupted outside. Everything seemed poised to be destroyed, but astonishingly, the wind never touched us. Fearless, we grabbed the talisman and ran. That night, I again saw a dream. The same black figure appeared, threatening us with death, disciplining us harshly. Yet we had no choice. We had to save Promi. The next morning, we gave the talismans to the female tantric, and she began her work immediately. Day by day, as my mother kept checking, we learned that Promi was gradually recovering. Relief slowly returned, though we remained anxious. One evening, as I sat in my room, a thought struck me. What the black figure had said earlier. If we helped Promi, 4 lives would be lost. According to the female tantric, only Promi and her child had been cursed through Rajib. If my help had caused death, I would be the 3rd, the last one being... Suddenly, the tantric called. He revealed that in addition to the doll, Promi had 2 more talismans, which he had retrieved and destroyed from the pond near Promi's house. Finally, he brought good news. The magic's influence had been broken. Promi would gradually recover. I couldn't believe my ears. I had never felt such joy. I immediately called Rajib to share the news, and he was overwhelmed with happiness. That day, I went to see Promi at her house. Seeing her healthy, I felt my heart finally calm. But happiness didn't last long. 3 days after Promi's recovery, Rajib fell gravely ill. No doctor, quack, or tantric could explain it. One night, I dreamt of the male tantric again. In the dream, he shouted furiously, "You saved one friend. How will you save the other? Rajib must die, and you will not escape." I awoke to Fajr prayers. Despite spending the day trying to remain normal, it became one of the most painful days of my life. That afternoon, I received the worst news. My dear friend Rajib was no longer alive. I lost my senses completely. After
After regaining some composure, I rushed to his house. Outside, police were stationed, not allowing anyone in, even me. At his father's request, I entered cautiously. I saw Rajib's lifeless body covered with a sheet on the floor. I could not bring myself to go closer, but then saw marks across his body, like 3 thick finger imprints on his neck and deep scratches all over. It was impossible for a human to inflict such damage. His post-mortem was delayed by his father. Eventually, Rajib was washed, prayed for, and buried. One night after this, I dreamt of Rajib. He spoke to me. "Friend, thank you for helping save her. I suffered as punishment in this world for my actions, and still do. That question you had, the 4th person, is none other than me. By chance, I became the 2nd and final person. The male tantric had planned to kill me too, after gaining power from Promi and her child. That dark figure in the bathroom caused my condition. Stay safe and care for everyone. They can never harm you because the magic has been broken along with me." This was my last encounter with Rajib and his last words. I could not hold my tears. A few days later, I went to Promi's house and recounted the full story from beginning to end. She was naturally emotional, but forgave Rajib and prayed to Allah for him. 1 year after Rajib's death, I moved to Saudi Arabia. This was the story of Borhan Ahmed, a truly horrifying tale, demonstrating the terrifying consequences of black magic and dark tantrics. I hope this story resonates with you.